with G Suite to make sure that we can get really comfortable with that tool and then start to think about how we can turn this into like a really dynamic kind of remote learning experience for students. So the whole reason why I'm kind of targeting this one is, I would say with almost every school I've worked with since March that's trying to figure out how to support remote learning, almost every conversation, if they're using G Suite, comes back to Google Slides because it's so powerful, and because, especially with the younger learners, like I have a rising third grader and a rising first grader of my own, and I went through that experience with them in the spring, and like people were doing their best in figuring out how to make it work. And I kept thinking, like, man, if everyone knew of the capacity of Google Slides to do things like support emerging readers or readers that are like just getting comfortable with reading text on a screen, and you can do that with audio, or the ease at which you can add video of yourself into a set of Google Slides. So if the students are, for example, looking at a picture of whatever it might be, the water cycle or a map because they're learning about their continents, you can put yourself in that slide deck so quickly and easily with the click of like 2 buttons. So when they're at home and they open this thing up, they see you in the slides. They can click play, they can hear you talking, connecting, explaining, clarifying, and then getting them ready to kind of work on their own activity. So that would be, those are like the 2 kind of compelling reasons why I think we should go this route for the elementary grades. In terms of the stuff that I'm going to give you, I just want you to kind of be comfortable that with everything I show you how to do, it's going to be supported by a little kind of video tutorial. So we have approximately 50 minutes left together. But when you're done and you walk away from this, you'll have my slides where it will go through the ability to insert video into slides. It walks you through the process of inserting audio, and it walks you through the process of making hyperlinks, which I think could be really helpful, especially if you wanted to do something like make a choice board in Google Slides for your kids to be able to pick any idea that they would like to explore or an activity they would like to work on. So, and then I have some models and examples that I'll show you when we kind of get down there. So with that, I think I'll start with the idea of audio and kind of talk through how we might, or excuse me, start with video and show you all the different ways that we can insert video into Google Slides. So I like to do a lot of live demonstrations in my sessions, but like I said, I will give you the kind of, you'll have the video archive of this, and you'll have my slides with everything that kind of like walks you through this process. So there's a number of different ways to think about video. The easiest one would be, for example, if my students were at home and I want them to learn about the water cycle, right? But maybe I don't have the time or capacity to make my own video, and we'll actually talk about that in another slot, in another session later today. But I know of a really high quality water cycle video, and I'm thinking this is the one that I want my students to watch. Like, that makes sense. So this video is probably a few minutes long, or this one, yeah, this one here is 6 minutes long, right? So I'm going to click on that video. This I can put right into my Google Slides. So what I'm going to do is just copy the URL. That's just the link associated with that video. So I was on YouTube right now copying that link. I'm back on Google Slides. I went to YouTube. I have my link. I'm ready to go. From the Insert menu, I can go Insert, Video, and it's like, hey, no problem. Where's your video? I have a link. So I'm going to paste my link, let that load, and hit Select. Now, this is a 6-minute video, right? So I might be thinking, well, I've watched it. I know it's really broken up into 2 big parts. I don't want my students to have to watch the entire 6-minute video without doing something. So watch what we'll do here. I'm going to take the video that's on slide 4 right now. I'm going to duplicate slide 4. All I did was copy slide 4 and paste slide 4, so I have a duplicate copy of the same thing. Now I'm going to go back, tap on the YouTube video, and when I open up the format options, this is where it gets really helpful. It gives me the capacity to customize the start and stop time. So if I know in slide
Greg,
4,
we can't see your screen.
Oh, I'm sorry. I might have jumped around. You might have lost it. Give me 1 sec. I'm going to change my screen share settings.
Thanks.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on. All right. You should be able to see it now. Can someone confirm for me with audio? Can you see this okay now?
Nope, we're still seeing you.
I can see it.
Yeah, I can see it.
I can see
Okay.
it.
It's presenting.
I can't.
I can see it.
I can see it.
All right, I'm in screen. I'm sharing. Let me do one more setting. Hold on, I'll pull it down. I'll do another way to share this. Hold on 1 second. No. Hold on. Hold on, I'm letting people in and it's blocking me from screen sharing. Give me 1 second.
Oh, wait.
Sorry about this, everyone. It makes me admit every single user. So I'm trying to get my screen pushed back up, and I'm currently letting people into the room. I'll get my screen shared in just a moment. Okay, I'll do my entire screen. You should be able to see my slides right now. Can you see, it says video, there's an image of a water cycle on the slide.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I'll pull my screen down and I'll come back to the group in a moment. But this idea of I found the video on YouTube, I grab the link, I come back to Google Slides, I can insert video from a URL and just paste my link there. But here's what I think is so valuable about Google Slides. That video, when I click on the video and go to format options on the top, it's a 6-minute video. You can see it right here. But I might say, I really want that one to run from 0 to 3. And then I'll just hit enter. So now on slide 4, it's only going to play the first 3 minutes of the video. On slide 5, I'll do the same thing. Tap on the video, but this time I'll have it run from 3:01 to 6:47. So it's a way of
precipitation that falls directly on.
Notice how it just jumped right to 3:01 when it hit play. So that's a way for me, if my students are at home by themselves, if I want them to do a little bit of an exploration about the water cycle, I don't have to have them watch the whole thing. I can chunk it into smaller parts. I can make it a little bit more accessible for them instead of them having to consume the entire process. Just gonna let a few more people in and then go back to my slides. All right, so that's one way to insert video, but I think there's actually a more powerful way to insert video, and it's not using content that's on YouTube, it's video of you. And then I'll give you a demonstration just how to do this, like the technical process, but then I'll show you what it looks like if we actually take your front-facing video and add you to a content, add you to an idea, add you to a short reading or a poem, or if you wanted to kind of like a read along with your students, this would be a really helpful way to do it. So I'm going to add one more slide because I just want to build this and kind of show you the whole process that's going on here. There is an extension that I'm just a huge fan of, and I'll share it in the session later today. It's called Record to Slides. And I'm going to show you this extension. I'll demo the use of the extension. I'll put the link in the chat so you have access to it. I cannot explain how valuable this extension is. What it lets you do is once it's installed, there's a little blue record button that will show up in your Google Slides that has never been there before. So if you tap that blue record button, it turns on your front-facing camera. It will record you, and I've let this go for 6 or 7 minutes, so there's not like there's no maximum recording length. You can record you explaining, introducing, welcoming, clarifying. I've been working with a lot of schools trying to make it really apparent to them that like high quality online learning, it might require you to present directions or kind of the task in more than one modality. So you might present the directions in text, but having those directions read out loud by you inside of this kind of like digital environment could be super helpful for the kids to make the whole activity and the assignment more accessible. So this is Record to Slides. I'm going to put the link in the chat so you have access to it. Give me 1 second here. All right, so that's in the chat for you if you'd like to pop that open and check it out, but I'll do a live demo of it right now. So I have Record to Slides already installed. If you look at my browser up here, I have this little extension that looks like a Google slide with a red record button on it. That's Record to Slides. Because it's installed, what I also have is this little camera icon that was never there before. So it's only there when the extension is installed. So what I'm able to do now is tap on that record button, I'm going to tap on that now. Notice it turns on my front-facing camera, right? I can even decide who has rights to this. So I can say anyone can see the video, only people in Triton Public Schools, or make the video private. So what you would likely want to do by default is say anyone in our school domain can see this video. I'll make it anyone just to make it really open. I'm going to tap record. And right now, just with the click of the blue button and the record button, it's now recording me and everything I say. So imagine, for example, I was with a group of elementary school teachers the other day, and they're like, oh, I could use this to do a read aloud. So I might be reading through the story. So I have my little book right here. I'm reading through the story and working on this text. And the kids might have the same text at home. Or I might have a screenshot of this story like on my slides, but I'm reading from it as well, so they can hear me reading it and they can follow along in the slides. And I'll give you more kind of ideas and approaches to using this. What I'll do now is I'll hit stop in record to slides. There's my little video. I will hit OK. And now what's going on, I'm not even touching my laptop at this point. That video is uploading, going up to Google Drive. It's processing the video. And in about, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 seconds, sometimes it takes a little bit longer. It depends how happy Google is with us. It will take that video and dump it right into the slides without me doing anything. So like, I can't express how valuable I think this tool is going to be to support your students. So I know we're working with an elementary group, and my context is, you know, high school history as my background. But I think about all these like complex readings that I might present to my high school students. In many ways, the content might be different, but the level of complexity for that learner, it could be similar to if you present a little short reading where students are focusing on new sight words. So imagine if you had the sight words on the screen that are kind of here already in a text box, or it might be a screenshot from an activity you already have, or you might go to a PDF and grab a little snippet out of that and dump it onto your slides. And I can show you how to do that if you like. And then you're able to be right next to it in video form. So here's the video that I just created, right? I like to make things look a really particular way. So I'll add a little bit of border weight, and I'll add like a blue color around it. So now my students would know if they click here, that's my video that's going to play back directly in the slides for them. And right now, just with the click of the blue button and the record button, it's now right. So YouTube video broken up into chunks. That was kind of video skill number one. And then video of you. You don't have to use your phone. You don't have to upload video. You don't have to use any other tools. It's embedded right in this environment. So I'm going to stop my screen share, come back to the group for a second. I'm curious. I know we have a big group. It's 85 people, so asking someone to unlock their mic could be a bit much in front of a group this big. I'm totally aware of that. I'm really curious is, did you know how to do that coming in? And then if you see the capacity how to do that, if you're like, oh my goodness, is anyone thinking right now, oh my goodness, I can put myself in my slides and talk to my students when they're at home on their own? And would anyone be willing to open up their microphone and say, like, this is what I can already envision doing with this. This could be so powerful. This could really allow me to connect with my students in a way I've never had before. So John, if you do an exclamation point in your comment, or Kathleen, if you do 3 exclamation points in your comment, that's kind of like an unwritten rule that you're willing to unlock your mic and like share what you're thinking right now. And if you don't want to, I totally get it. But an OMG all caps with 3 exclamation points means you really want to unlock your mic. Or John, you can bail Kathleen out and unlock your mic if you'd like to.
I'll bail them both out.
Oh, please, Spencer, go ahead.
Sorry, John, do you want to go first?
No, go ahead.
Okay. I'm the EL teacher at 2 of the elementary schools, so I am beyond excited to use this because, I mean, as an English learner, they need to be able to listen to English speakers.
Yep.
So to have this feature easily accessible is so wonderful and going to make my life so much easier, especially when I go to create different supports for them, like within their classroom or whatever.
That's awesome, Spencer. Hey, can you like can you think of like a specific skill or context of like what your kind of responsibility is, where you think it would like really concrete, like here's the idea, here's why my video would be so helpful?
Sure. So I know every teacher is probably thinking the same thing I am, but I'm thinking specifically of foundations where, we have to teach those students to tap out the words. So if they're seeing me do it on a screen for each word, it's going to be really beneficial. And then even for a different topic for sight words and foundations, they're going to need to hear us say them in order for them to pronounce them correctly. So it's all going to be there. And they can see our lips moving, which is even more helpful.
Spencer, are you talking through the tapping through the syllables of a word?
Tapping through the sounds in the word for the yeah.
Okay. So this is tricky, right? Because this is our first interaction. We don't have much of a background. I would love to normally come to the school and be in a room with all of you. We just can't do that anymore. I'll talk about that comment in the chat in a minute. But if the kids are starting totally remotely, right? They're at home, you're teaching them remotely. Have you talked at all about making kind of self-paced or asynchronous experiences for them? We're not in a live call, we're done with the Google Meet for the morning, and now you're off kind of working on your own. Imagine whatever idea it is, or the task or the challenge, how different it would be if they can click play and hear you hey, welcome everyone to activity 1 on Monday afternoon. This is what you're gonna work on. This is what it will look like when you're done. And then what's really cool about this, and I'll show you a model, you can embed yourself with more than one video. So to Spencer's point even, say you had 5 sight words on the slide, there's no reason why you couldn't put 5 little videos next to every sight word. Or I'll even show you a model where if I want my kids to learn about the continents and I have a map on my slides, there's no reason why I couldn't put multiple videos of me on every continent, because who cares if I'm tiny? They just need to kind of see me and hear the ideas that I'm talking about. I'm just going to check in on the chat. There was a comment there. So, Shella, Lumen Screencastify, it's kind of a different purpose. So with those tools, it's a screen recording. So instead of you being recorded, your screen is being recorded. If you need the kids to see you inking on the screen or talking about a visual or a graphic or text, then use Loom or Screencastify. If it's just you and you're gonna welcome, explain, and they don't need to see ideas, they can see you, then I would say Record to Slides is a really good fit. So with that, let me push my screen up one more time. Hold on a second. And we're gonna jump back to Google Slides, and I'll show you the next skill set that we can embed, and then really a really specific example of what that would look like. So what I wanna get to now is the use of not video, but audio. This one's a little bit of a longer process, but I'll show you how it could be really valuable in this next kind of little model that I'm going to show you in a second. So to record audio, there's nothing easy like Record to Slides. My process that I tend to go through, I use a website called 123 Apps, and I will drop that in the chat for you as well in just a second. Hold on here. So there's 123 Apps, and I'm going to walk through this whole process for you right now. I go to the 123 Apps website. When I'm here, there is a voice recorder that's built into this website. I don't have to install anything. I don't have to download anything. I just have to click on voice recorder. There's a recording option right in the middle of the screen. I'm going to tap on that. Hey everyone, it's Mr. Coolwick, and welcome to your first at-home experience in Google Slides. So you'll notice here that I have a little audio file. So I get to talk to you, explain, welcome, introduce, whatever you might do with audio. Anytime you see this small little audio icon, if you click on that in the slides, that will be me talking, explaining, teaching, clarifying, whatever I might do with audio. And I'll give you more ideas on what you might do. This is just a little demo recording. So now that I'm done, I will hit pause. If I want to pick back up, I can unpause and kind of keep going where I left off. If I'm good and I'm totally done, I will hit stop. There's my audio file, right? No advanced editing. I'm just going to trim off some dead air on the front where I was quiet for a while. I'm going to tap save. This file is going to go to my downloads folder. So I'm going to do that right now. That went to my downloads folder. So that's it could be on my desktop, on my downloads, somewhere on your device where your downloads go, likely your downloads folder. Now, before I can put this in Google Slides, what I have to do is I'm going to head over to Google Drive. I have a folder in Google Drive called Audio for Slides. I've already made that folder. That exists already. The reason why I have a folder is because I want to take that audio, drag it, and drop it into that folder. Similar thinking behind when I used Record to Slides and there was a drop-down menu that said, who can listen to this video? I need to make sure that if I send my students home and they have a set of slides that I've made for them, that if they click on that audio file, they can hear it. So what I've done with this folder is I've changed the privacy settings under here, under privacy settings, ahead of time I've done this, to anyone with the link can view. Right, so instead of that folder being private, I want anyone who clicks on something in that folder to be able to view, or really in this case, listen. So now that that audio was, and here's the whole process again, record on 123 apps, save and download. I drag the file from my downloads folder right into Google Drive, and I put it in a folder that is kind of open to my school domain or open to my students. Now let's go back to my slides where I was building. And it's the same insert menu, but instead of insert video, I'm going to insert audio. So insert audio from Google Drive, recent, because I want that most recent file. And there's the one today at 8:53 a.m. I'm just gonna hit select, give that a moment, and there's my audio file that I've just added. Let me just let someone else into the room. Give me 1 second. All right, so there's my audio file that I've just added. So the students can now come into these slides. And if I'm uncomfortable with video, or I just don't feel like using video, if I think audio might be a better experience for them, I can click.
Hey everyone, it's Mr. Coolwick, and welcome to your first at-home.
Right, and that's what they get to hear. Right, so what does that look like though? Here's a mock-up of what that could look like. So imagine that I send my little guys home and I want them to explore the water cycle, but I can't connect with them and we don't really have the time or maybe the capacity for me to teach this online, like through a Zoom or a Google Meet call. And my evaluation is, I think I want my kids to explore it kind of relatively independently at home, but I need to support them along the way. So all this is a Google slide with a picture in the background of the water cycle. I've recorded myself maybe explaining 2 or 3 different parts of the water cycle. We have these little circled number icons, and I can show you, I can build all of this again live to kind of show you the process. Because when I build for kind of online experiences, even for adults, like let me show you one here. These are for adult learners. And when my learners come here, I need them to go like 1, 2, 3. I want zero confusion when anyone is working on my online stuff. So with students, I think it could be really helpful to do the kind of like start here, then go here, then go here. So what can they do? They can click on that audio file, click play, hear me talking and explaining. Maybe I'm talking about evaporation or condensation or whatever's going on here. And then I built in just a little text box for them to work inside of. Now I know, like, you might not ask a K1, you might ask a 2. Like my daughter was in 2nd grade last year. She would kind of engage with these kinds of things where she would type in a text box. This might be the kind of middle to upper elementary. But if you're working with the K students or the 1 students and you're thinking, oh, we haven't gotten to typing, I don't want to create kind of unreasonable barriers or make this challenge too kind of like technologically challenging, you might just create the experience where they can click to hear you talking about the different parts of the water cycle or whatever the background picture might be. And you might not have them do anything digitally. You might have them grab a piece of paper and work on something. So I think with this ability to kind of like personalize the experience, be a little bit more connected to your kids, go inside of the file and be there with them. But imagine if you could simply like explain the directions with audio, or like kind of read through all of those new sight words, or read a short passage. So if they're going to read that little bit of text on their own, they can hear you reading it as well to kind of support them when they're at home working. So 123 apps, download the audio, upload the audio to Google Drive, insert it into your Google Slides, and then here's one kind of mock-up of what something like this could look like. So I'd like to do the same thing. I always like to kind of present and teach a little bit, like try to keep it really targeted, come back to the group, kind of check in, see if anyone was willing to share, talk about what they might do with it, what they're excited about, if I need to kind of go through any of the process again. So I'm going to pull my screen down and check back in with the group. Now I can't see all of you, I can see a fraction of you, but if you'd like to indicate to me, oh no, 123 apps is currently blocked. Yikes, that's no fun. I will check in with Anna and see if we can figure out a workaround, or, hold on one second, check this one also. There's other ways to record audio. 123 apps is not the only path. Let me know if this site is open for you. Oh, hold on, that's not the site. That's not the site either. That's the site. Vocaroo is another free website that lets you record audio, record your voice, download the MP3. So a lot of schools kind of use Vocaroo. I like 123 apps, but I'll check in with your, okay, so let me demo that process because I want to make sure when you walk away, like this is really clear for you. I'm going to go to, hold on one second. I'm going to go share my screen and do that whole process, but using Vocaroo instead. So here I am on Vocaroo. I'm going to record my voice. Right, so I'm recording my voice using Vocaroo. It just looks a little different. Really the same thing is going on. When I'm done, I will hit pause and stop, right? So there's my audio file. Now when I clicked share, and here's the option to download the file. And notice that came down as an MP3 file, which was the same file that I use for 123 apps. So Vocaroo will work, download your MP3, drag it up to Google Drive, and then insert that in your slides. Avoided near disaster with that one if 123 apps was the only option. So I'm really curious right now. I would love to hear from you. There's a good number of people in the room. I have to assume that there's some kind of approach or application of using audio and Google Slides that you can absolutely see, like this would be beneficial. Or is anyone in the camp of like, I didn't know about this. I had no clue you could do that in Google Slides. Was anyone there? Like you can do a hand raise if you want so I can see. Or did we all know how to do this already? So we didn't. I see some heads nodding no. Yes, no clue. That's great, Lisa. If you're in the no clue camp, that's why we're here. Would anyone be willing to share? Like you can let me know in the chat, like I have an idea or I have a question or I have this vision of what this could look like, because I'd love to hear some ideas from you. I tell every group I work with, there's nothing like awkward Google Meet wait time, especially with like strangers that I've really never connected with before. So Kathleen, Melissa, it's new. So I'd love to do like, it's new and what I'm thinking is, or I didn't know about that, and like if we could add one more layer. And if not, I totally get it. It's a big room.
I will share.
Oh, please, Donna, go ahead.
I was thinking that it would be great if they had independent work just to read the directions to them or, you know, reiterate it to them. I think that would be super helpful. And then also for science, like you used with the water cycle.
But I think it's at, like, Donna, what's the grade level? What's your context? Like grade level, content area?
Fourth, but I was thinking for kids like, you know, with attention difficulties that don't want to read the directions, that just want to jump into it. It might be good to have seeing me and hearing my voice, you know?
Yeah. It's funny though, I was reading a piece recently by a college professor that's like, I've been teaching online for 2 weeks and I've never done this before in my life. And one of the reflections was when I give these are college students, when I give my college students text as the only way to understand what I want them to do, the quality and completion rate is like a little bit too low for that professor's liking. When the professor started adding audio or video into the task or the challenge or the prompt, the completion rate skyrocketed and the quality was better. So I don't think it's particular to like any like kind of learner. I think about if I'm at home and I can only read text from something I'm supposed to work on, like I'll figure it out. I'll figure out what I need to do. But if I could hear the person talking, explaining the tone of their voice, emphasizing certain ideas, I think that could be really helpful.
I agree.
Awesome. So a few questions that popped up. Lauren, not off the top of my head, I know there's a way to do it. I know I've done it at some point. There might even be an add-on or an extension to turn Google Slides into like a flashcard environment. I might have to dig into it. So Lauren, can you do this as well? Let Lauren, I'm going to put my email in the chat. If you email me that question, then give me a moment to kind of check it out afterwards later today, and I'll figure out how to do it. Caitlin, can you add audio to a Google Classroom post? 100%, Caitlin. And I'll demo it right now and show you what that can look like. If you have the audio, and I'm sure more of you might be thinking this, if you have the audio and the audio's in Google Drive, what you can do is go to Google Classroom and post an announcement. You can post a piece of material. You can post it in any way you want because it's already in your Google Drive account. Or you might say, I'm going to post the assignment, right? The Google slide is the assignment. That's the workspace. And then what I'm able to do is have the audio right inside the assignment. But if you wanted to do like a video welcome or an audio welcome in Google Classroom, I'll show you how to do it right now because it kind of connects to everything we're working on. So give me 1 second. I'm just going to jump over to Google Classroom and get into like a demo class of mine. Hold on. So there's a workshop. Oh, there's a demo class right there. Right, so Google Classroom. And is this the environment? Can someone let me know with their mic? Is everyone using Google Classroom?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I'm just going to let one more person in. Another person just joined. All right, so if you're using Google Classroom, what I could absolutely do, like I like to do this strategy of having today and then everything else. So if my kids are going to log in today, I want to give them the ability to know what we're working on. And maybe a video welcome would be perfect or an audio welcome would be perfect. So watch what I'll do. Create material. And I will do, let's do, what's today? Wednesday? I'm losing track. The days blend together now. Wednesday audio welcome, right? So that's what I'm posting. I will add from Google Drive. Right, and because I just recorded that audio, it will be recent, so it's going to be that top file. So there it is right there. I'm just going to hit insert, and there's my audio. I would likely rename it ahead of time. I'll add it to the topic of today and hit post. And now when my students come into Google Classroom and they go to the classwork tab, they would see today we have our Wednesday audio welcome, and they would click and click. And this is how it plays back for
Hey
them.
everyone, it's Mr. Colwick, and welcome to your first
Right, so that will absolutely work. I could do a video welcome as well, do the same thing. So I'll do create material. I'll call this Wednesday video welcome. Add from Google Drive. Recent, right, because I want to grab the most recent file. And there's the little video right here that I made with record to slides. I made that at 8:45. I will insert that, put it under the Today tab, and hit post. And now the students could come to the classwork tab and go, oh, my teacher left us a little video welcome for the day because we're at home and he or she wants to kind of connect with us and get us going for the morning. Video welcome. They click, it opens up in Google Drive, right? Because you've given them permission.
And right now, just with the click of the blue button and the record.
That's it. It works. So that could even be a really nice way to add a little kind of like personal touch to your Google Classroom environment by adding multimedia as a welcome or to explain the assignment or provide directions to them. No problem, Caitlin. So keep the questions coming in the chat. I know I said like, hey, I'd like to focus on Google Slides. I think it's super powerful, but I'm totally happy if you have like, hey, can you show this thing in Google Classroom or can you solve this really unique problem? Just add those to the chat. If I can't solve it now, I'll follow up with you later in the day with a solution or a link or some process that you can use. All right, there's maybe one more big idea that I wanted to show you, and it has to do with linking. Have we done this before? Let me know in the chat. In Google Slides, have you ever made, so the kids are in Google Slides and you can make it so they can click, maybe it's a picture of the globe in Google Slides and they can click on North America and it brings them to a website about North America. Or they can click on like South America and it brings them to a website. So one is, do you know how to do hyperlinking? So linking out to the web, or and it seems like we're 50-50 so far. Or the other way you can do this is you can link internally, meaning I might have a slide that's like a choice board, where like there's 6 different activities for the day. I was with a teacher working in LA the other day, remotely. I'm not going to LA, I'm staying right at home. But the teacher was in LA, and she was showing me the choice board that she makes. And she has the 9 options, and she makes the kids finish it like a tic-tac-toe game. So they have to do 3 of the 9 in any direction that they want. And that's on slide 1, but they can click on any choice they want and it brings them to that activity. So you can do internal linking or external linking. And I'll show you both processes because this could be really helpful. If you're like, oh, but this awesome interactive game on the web, I want them to get to it, but I want them to start with a welcome from me or an audio explanation or make it part of a bigger choice activity. So I'm going to build this live for you so you can see the whole process. Seems like we're about 50-50 yes, no. So I think it could be worth, even if you've done it before, I might even be able to add another approach or idea or two. So let's do some hyperlinking. Hold on one second. All right. So I'm going to demo that whole idea. I'm going to open up a world map. And this could actually also be really helpful. I tend to do this stuff a little bit too quickly. In Google Slides, in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a little star, and that's the Explorer tool. The Explorer tool lets me search to find things that I need without leaving Google Slides. So if I need a world map, for example, I go to the Explorer tool, and there's every map that I possibly would want to use. And these are all copyright free, so I don't need to worry about like copyright infringement or stealing copyrighted files. So if that's the one that I like, I will hit the plus button. That world map is going to dump onto the screen. So that was super easy. I didn't have to go anywhere. I can just pull that over. Now that links to a website called publicdomainpictures.net. I don't really want it to link to that, so I'm going to get rid of that link right here. So there's our world map. Now, if I want my kids to be able to click on it to go out to different places, let me show you my favorite strategy. I'm going to go to the shape tool. And I like this little shape with rounded edges. And I'm going to click and drag and drop that shape onto North America. Now that looks terrible because you can't see North America anymore. So I'll go to the bucket fill and make it transparent. Go to the border weight and thicken it up so you can actually see it. And then I might even make the border weight red so it kind of like pops out. Now that is an object, which means that is clickable. So if, for example, let me just open up, maybe it's like national, there's got to be a website, here we go. North America, physical geography from National Geographic. Maybe I want my kids to come here to explore the geography of North America. I'm going to copy that link because this is where I want them to go. Go back to my Google Slides. That whole shape, I'm going to make that shape link to, right there with the linking function, link to that website. So now if they come here, they can click and go right to that North America website. The other thing I like to do to make it really clear, like, hey, I need you to click here, computer pointer finger. I like to grab this little computer pointer finger. I'm going to add that to my slides as well. Get rid of the link. I don't want them to go to Pixabay, so I'm going to get rid of the link and just kind of shrink this down a little bit. And then add that here to cue them into the idea that like, hey, click on that red box. Like we can't assume they're going to do anything. We can't assume they understand what our intention is. So I might try to make it really clear. I might even do something like this to make it really explicit of the path I want them to take. I might add in a shape. I like to do these little circles. So I'll do that shape. I'll make the border weight in color red. I'll put a 1 in here. Fill it navy. Make the letter white or the number white. So now they land here, right? And I've made this little kind of map exploration activity where they go, oh, I'm going to click on North America first to learn about North America. They click, there's the link, it bumps open a new tab, and now they're doing this kind of exploration of the geography of North America. So I want to do that process one more time to make sure we're really comfortable. I'll go to the shape tool. I'll drop this one over, let's do Australia. So I'll drop that over Australia. Bucket fill, transparent. Border weight, I like to make it 4. I make the border color red. Now let's find the website. All right, so here's this National Geographic Kids site. That's the one I might want to use. Let's go back to our slides, make that shape, link to the web. I'm just going to copy and paste the little pointer finger so they know to click there. I'm going to copy and paste because I don't want to recreate that. I'll just copy and paste the 1, drop it over here, but make it a 2. Now think about what I could also add. Like, this doesn't have to be just click and good luck. I can now layer things like record to slides, or I can layer things like using my voice with audio. So watch what we'll do now. I'm going to click on the record to slides button. Welcome everyone to our exploration of all of the continents, and what we're really going to focus on is the unique kind of geographic characteristics of each continent. So you can see you have little numbered icons. So what I'd like you to do is start with number 1, click on that little red hotspot to open up a page where you'll learn more about North America. When you're done exploring North America, close that tab, come back to the Google Slides, and then you can click on, I think Australia is second, and then we'll do Africa and Asia and South America. So we'll explore everywhere together. Just follow the path. What I also want you to get out is kind of your paper notebook, where once you do your exploration, I want you to answer 1 key question for each part of the world that you explore. So there's my little video. I know that might not have been totally clear. I just want to kind of model what this could look like when we start to layer our video with the kind of hyperlinking capacity, with the nice kind of like visual layout of Google Slides. So we'll give that video a minute to process and drop in. And then I'll even show you another thing we can do with video. So this might be, I don't know, 10, 15 seconds or so. This really depends on how happy Google is with us and how happy Google Drive is and the pace at which this file will upload. There we go. So I'll take this video, just gonna make it a little bit smaller. Maybe might drop it up here as like, hey, start here. And it might require me to get them used to like the experience and the process. They'll start there, they can explore, explore, explore. But imagine if maybe I wanted to be the one to teach them about North America. There's no reason why I couldn't put a North America video there. And there's no reason why I couldn't make an Australia video and drop that there. Right, so you can design this any way that you want once you have those kind of core skills in place to start to add and layer these elements on top of one another. So I'm going to pull my screen down. Let me check back in with the group. So does the concept of hyperlinking make sense? Like external hyperlinking, linking out to the web. And if you may, I would be really curious, someone who was in the like, I've never done this before, I've never made a hyperlink from Google out to the web. When you saw me go through that process, is anyone already quickly identifying, like, I feel like I could recreate that process, and I can think of a specific instance where I'd want my kids to start with me in Google Slides with my video and my kind of design, and then link out to go experience something else? Super curious. And I can only see a fraction of you on the screen, which is unfortunate. So I have like a small view of all of you right now. But if you have an idea, I'd love to see what you're thinking in the chat. So Sean, yes, yoga moves I can't do. Sean, I totally understand. My yoga is borderline pathetic as well. So I would refer to the experts to look at those like proper alignment of their body during those yoga moves. Can anyone else also maybe share either in the chat, or would you be willing to unlock your mic and tell me what you're thinking here? And if not, I have one more little demo I'd like to show for you also to maybe pull things together a bit. Thoughts, ideas, or drop questions in there if you're not quite sure. All right, it seems like we're okay. I totally understand. I'm gonna jump back and share my screen for a moment and show you a few more ideas. Hold on 1 second. So I focused on kind of external hyperlinking, like linking from my slides out to the web, but I want to show you what else we can do here. So I'm going to insert a blank slide, and on that blank slide, I'm going to add the solar system. All right, so instead of linking out to the web, I could keep the students entirely in here. So let me do, I'm going to kind of mock this up and build this kind of quickly so you can see the whole process. for example, let's say we're going to do Mercury, Venus, and Earth, right? So on this slide, this is going to be about Mercury. Now, I'm super particular about how my fonts look, so you have to be patient with me as I change the size and style and color. All right, so that slide's going to be about Mercury. I might do something like this. Head over to YouTube or grab a reading or whatever I might do. Right, here's this National Geographic video about Mercury. Right, so I'm going to grab that link, go back to my slides, insert video from URL, because I just grabbed the link, and I'm dropping that little Mercury video onto this slide, right? What I might also do, and if you're using Google Classroom, and let me know in the chat if you've done this, have you taken like a set of Google Slides or a Google document or any Google file, made an assignment in Google Classroom and made a copy for each student? Have we done that before? Just let me know in the chat if you've made a copy of a Google file as an assignment in Google Slides. Okay, so a bunch of yeses. So imagine if we build something like this. I have a slide just about Mercury. I have a little video I want them to watch about Mercury. I'm over here. This is the student workspace. So student workspace. You might populate this with questions, ideas, a reflection, a challenge, a writing prompt, right? So you put your ideas there of what you want them to work on. That's the Mercury slide. Right, so I'm going to go to the Explorer tool and search for a home icon right now. And I'm going to grab this little home icon, get rid of the link, and put this up in the corner here. So some of you might even have a sense of what I'm building right now. I want that home icon to always bring them back to the solar system. So I'm going to take that home icon and link it to, not the web, but slide 13, because that's what I want it to point back to. So I'm actually just going to duplicate Mercury for we'll do Venus and Earth. So I'm going to duplicate this, but this one is going to be Venus. I'll duplicate this, but this one is going to be about Earth. Right, so I would put my Venus video there and my Earth video there. But now, how do I make it linkable? The same way that I did before. I'm going to drop a shape right on top of Mercury. Let's make that shape transparent. Let's give it some border weight and make the border weight red. Right, so they know like that's clickable. I need to make that shape link to slide 14. So there's my shape, hyperlink to slide 14, hit apply. I'll do another one for Venus, right? I'm just gonna actually duplicate this. I don't wanna make that all over again. So I'll drop this one on top of Venus, but I don't want it to link to slide 14, so I need to get rid of that link and take that shape and link it to slide 15. So there's slide 15, and we'll just do it one more time. I'm going to duplicate that, drag it on top of Earth, get rid of the link, and make that link to slide 17. So that's linking to slide 17. So now when the students come here, and I might even add a little video, like, hey, click on all of the planets above, it will bring you to the slide about that planet. When you land there, there's going to be a video or a short reading or a challenge or a task or a prompt. And then anytime you want, click on the home icon to come back here. They're like, oh, I'll start with Earth. They click and click. They're on slide. Oh, wrong. I should have linked to 16. Sorry, bad link. Let me fix that one. That needs to link to 16, not 17. There we go. So they click, and they're on slide 17. Here's the Earth video or the reading, or you might link them out to the web, whatever you're going to do. Here's their workspace, and when they're done, okay, I'm going to head back home. They land back here. Now I'll work on Venus. Click and click. Oh, that's another bad link. Sorry, I made all my links not make sense. So that one should have been, oh no, Mercury went to the right one. There, we're on Mercury. They watch the video, work on their activity, click home, and go right back to that landing page. So with this model here, we were linking out to the web. With this model here, we were linking internally inside of Google Slides. So that could be another helpful way that you can kind of create. Every school I've been working with, I'm talking about this idea of creating maybe like a multi-day experience. So instead of kids having to open Google Classroom every day and go, what do I need to click on today? I'm not sure what we're working on. they might click on something on Monday and they might be exploring the solar system for 5 days. And you might even do something like this. I'm going to drop a shape right here and I'll tell them this is Monday and Tuesday, right? So that's when they're going to work on this part of the solar system. Give this a little bit of border weight so it pops out. Make that bold, a little bit bigger. Sorry, I'm so picky about how my fonts look. There you go. So they would go, oh, I need to work on those 3 planets for Monday and Tuesday. Then I'll work on Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn on Wednesday. Then I'll work on Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto on Thursday and Friday. So this is like, Google Slides is so powerful and so flexible. And then I could take this, not the whole thing, but like slide 13, 14, 15, 16, and all the other planets, and I can assign that out in Google Classroom, make a copy for every student. And like I said, if you're working with older students, you might have them work in the slides. If you're working with younger students, it might purely be like a consumption thing where they might just be learning about the ideas to get ready for like a live call or a Google Meet or a live class check-in. I'm going to stop sharing and go back to our slides right now. Let me check in on the chat here. All right. So Jody, can you review sharing a Google Slide in Google Classroom? Do we make a copy? Oh yeah, so Jody, when you post the assignment, there's a little drop-down menu. So I would do new assignment, attach my kind of planet slides, and then hit a drop-down menu. And I can show you really quickly. I want to make sure this is really clear. You would do make a copy for every student. We have a few minutes. We can share this. Hold on. So here we are. If I'm here, I would go create, new assignment. I'll call this Planet Exploration. Spelling would be nice. Yikes. Okay, Planet Exploration. Add from Google Drive, recent, right? I would grab the thing that I just built with that solar system. So there it is. I will hit insert. And now this is the magic right here. Hit that drop-down menu and do make a copy for each student. And now every student would have their kind of solar system activity, a duplicate copy for every student, and then you would get to see that copy immediately because it's going to be in Google Classroom where every student's solar system, like notebook or digital activity, you can open that up and see it immediately. Let me stop sharing, come back to the group. All right, my hope is that over that kind of hour together, you got maybe a new idea or a new approach, or you have maybe just you're rethinking what you might be able to build and create with Google Slides in a way that you haven't done before. Lauren, that was really nice of you to drop that in the chat. My hope is that you're all like semi-aligned with Lauren's thinking. Can you do me a favor? In the chat, if you're comfortable doing this, if you could add like, what's your big takeaway? So the big skills we talked about were adding video from a few different perspectives, adding audio from a few different perspectives, and then kind of hyperlinking to make experiences for your kids. So I'm wondering if one of those stands out, you might say audio, and here's what I'm going to do. Or like Jody, adding video, this is awesome. This is what, and if you want to add the what you might do with it, that would be great. If you're like, hey, this is just super helpful, I'm good with audio and video, let me know in the chat. And I recognize, like, I had to make a decision about what we were going to do. I decided to pick Google Slides because I think it's the best tool that's going to help you create with and for your kids moving forward. And hopefully you kind of found that to be similarly the case. Oh, that's great, Shauna. That's my favorite one. Record to Slides by far is my favorite extension. The developer Clay is amazing. He's been so responsive. If you message him, his Twitter profile, I'll drop it in the chat. He goes by Clay Codes online, and he's just an amazing guy, and he's done so much work on that extension to make it function. You're going to use audio and hyperlinking. This is great. So just to kind of reiterate, you know what I'll do? I'm going to grab these slides and add them into the chat for you right now. Hold on 1 second. I'm just going to grab them and make sure that you get access to them. All right, so in the chat, I'm going to put the link to my slides. Link to Greg's slides. Oops, V is no good. There's the link to my slides. If you want to open those up, you can make a copy of them. Just do File, Make a Copy, so you have it forever. Like I said, There's little kind of video tutorials of everything we did. So if you're like, I can't remember that, that was too fast, I completely understand. Go back and watch it whenever you want to. All of the live demos I did were in there as well. So feel free to kind of review some of those live demos that I mocked up, as well as the slides. If there's a little laptop on the screen, that's a video tutorial that I've made for you. All right, friends, it's 9:29. We made it through session 1. I'm going to stop the recording so we have an archive of this.